BYU TV basketball analyst Steve Cleveland is with us as we start what figures to be the most important week of the basketball season, and it's just week 2.
It is. They've got some great teams to compete against. It's an RPI opportunity, especially when you go back to New York. But with Georgia State, a team that came off a 22-win season, they've lost 4 out of 5 starters. So don't be confused with the fact that they have the same team as they did. They don't. But they do have a winning mentality now. It'll be a good test. I think BYU will take care of business at home.
All right. So what would we called the game the other night, and I think we both kind of came away going, you know what, team speed is going to be a challenge for BYU when they're facing a fast opponent.
I think Florida State's guards could give BYU some trouble, though they didn't give South Alabama much trouble. Here we see some highlights of the other night, and I think the one thing about Tennessee State is they got BYU to play at a faster pace than they wanted to. But I think at the end of the day, timely shots were made. There you have Corey Calvert, nice pass out to Cusick for a 3. At home, BYU seems to knock those timely threes down, and they had the break running. A lot of it was because 94 feet of defense from Tennessee State. I mean, they put so much pressure. But it was an exciting, entertaining game. It was a good game for BYU to have early.
We also learned, and it was just one game of a whole bunch, but it's going to be a Davies and Haws-led team.
They're going to carry the load offensively and even in rebounding. So you know that. I think you can count on that. And it's pretty amazing that Tyler would come back off a mission and have such an immediate impact. But he got home in April, which really, really helped. You know, the other thing that I really like about this team is they have improved guard depth. Yeah. Their guard plays better, and I think that Carlino's better, 8-2 the other night. Still makes a few decisions, jumping up in the air a little bit, but Zylstra's playing with confidence. Haws now makes a contribution to that guard line, gives them some depth, and then with Delgado, and hopefully Winder comes back.
All right, as we look ahead to the week, we've got the schedule for you, and it's Georgia State Tuesday, and then you get into the Big Four really of in the Coaches versus Cancer Classic with Florida State Friday night, and then Notre Dame St. Joe's. They'll get the winner or loser depending on what happens on Friday. But as you mentioned, in the world of RPIs, you got to get 1 or 2 almost.
Well, Florida State was a 25th ranked team coming in. They lose at home 76-71 to South Alabama. I think a lot of that's the fact they did lose 6 seniors. They lost 50% of their scoring. But 4 out of their 5 starters, the same team that won the ACC tournament, is who BYU has an opportunity to play. And I think it's going to be competitive. It won't surprise me to see Coach Rose use his zone defense early on and a lot in this tournament. But win or lose, are going to play 2 pretty good teams. Notre Dame, 22-win season, NCAA tournament team, and St. Joe's, who will get their point guard back. He's on a 3-game suspension, picked to win the A-10. Yeah. And that's a pretty good league. So either way, they're going to have 2 great ball games back in New York.
All those teams will know, hey, keep an eye on Davies, keep an eye on Haws. Who is the 3rd person for BYU that could really make a difference this year?
I think the most pleasant surprise is senior Brock Zylstra. And you would expect a senior to make those kind of contributions. And, you know, Brock has shot the ball well. He's done this with the ball. He's been able to put the ball on the floor and finish around the basket, something he didn't do a lot last year. And weight room, experience, you know, he's a 5th-year senior, a walk-on who earned a scholarship and now is making great contributions to his team.
Well, as a former coach, I know you know this, and we see it more often. You can play your way out of the big dance in November. You can play your way in November. You win a couple of big games. It's amazing how high your RPI can stand as you get into conference play, which means Friday and Saturday for BYU are enormous.
They are, because you know, you take a look at these teams. Florida State, everyone respects them. They beat North Carolina in the finals last year in that ACC tournament. Right. You know, you take Notre Dame, who's been to the tournament, St. Joe's, Coach Martelli. These are very respected teams. No matter what they have this year in terms of losing seniors, they have the name factor. They have the X factor, the name that means something. And you're right. If BYU goes in there and wins 1 or 2 ball games, it's going to enhance their RPI, and then down the road, Baylor, Iowa State. They've got 4 or 5 ball games that can really enhance their RPI in the preseason.
Okay, we love big weeks. This is one of them.
This is one of them.
Thank you, Steve.